difficulty standing out in a crowded market, operational challenges with regard to either leadership or execution. All of these revolve around failing to plan. And if you fail to plan, you're really planning to fail. Now, with all of those negative sides, it doesn't mean you shouldn't start a business. In fact, Ferdinand Magellan has a really good quote that says, "The sea is dangerous and its storms are terrible, but these obstacles have never been a sufficient reason to remain ashore." Ferdinand Magellan took a huge risk in the 1500s, over 500 years ago, when he decided to take a fleet of ships and sail around the world for the first time. In reality, what happened was he didn't make the final voyage. He died about halfway through, but his fleet did make it around the world and becoming the first attempt to do that. So things are risky, but if you plan carefully, you have a good opportunity to be successful. Now, how do you find your place in business? We're going to use a model that was developed by the Japanese. It's called Ikigai. And it's a Japanese concept that means a reason for being, or sometimes they refer to it as a reason to get up in the morning. And basically, it takes four important concepts: what you love to do, what you're good at, what the world needs, and what you can be paid for. And the intersection of those four things is what they call Ikigai, okay? Your reason for being. And, it's very logical, right? If you like what you're doing and you're good at it and the world needs your product or service and they're willing to pay you for it, that's pretty much a definition for a successful business. Now, what we can do is take these concepts and turn it into a business-related idea. We're going to use different words, and these words are words that people in business tend to use. So the idea of what you love to do and what you're good at is your capability. What you love to do and what the world needs is what we would call your mission statement. What you're good at and what you can get paid for is what we would call in business your value proposition. And what the world needs and what you can get paid for is what we call a market opportunity. And if you can align all four of those concepts, then you have an Ikigai business success, a reason for your business to be in existence. We're going to go through each of these and talk about them a little bit. But before we do that, do you have any ideas for a new business? If yes, use the following steps to evaluate your idea. If no, use the following steps to match your skills, passions, and areas where you think you can make an impact. And hopefully that will allow you to develop some business ideas that you can evaluate using this model. So the first aspect of this is, what do you love to do? What is your mission in life? What activities make you lose track of time? What problems or topics do you enjoy exploring and solving? What hobbies or personal interests excite you? Do you have a passion to fill an unmet need? We need some way to define what it is that you really like. I mean, in your current job, if you have one, What is the fun part of your job? What do you really enjoy doing? The second item is, do you have the capability to run the kind of business that you're contemplating? Critical success factors typically involve things like skills, education, experience. If you want to open a donut shop and you've never made donuts, you've never owned a shop, you know, um, that might be require you to fill some gaps. Obviously, to start a business, you need a strong work ethic. You obviously have to be able to effectively manage your own time and the time of others. You have to have the ability to manage various business functions that aren't directly related to your product or service. And you have to have a willingness to help people and take advice from others. So, how can you fill those gaps if you have them? Well, one, obviously, you can take courses to improve whatever skills you're lacking. If you don't have any experience in an industry, it might make sense to take a job in the industry to gain some experience and see whether or not your ideas make sense. If you don't have all the skills you need, you can find people you can hire to fill your gaps. Now, everyone does this when they start a business. For example, most people need a lawyer, maybe to help them organize their corporation or LLC. Generally, it's a good idea to have a CPA or an accountant help you with taxes. So, I mean, there's some obvious skills that a lot of people don't have that you're going to need to um, fill in. As your business grows, you can actually bring in people who are accountants or production specialists or whatever it is that you need to enhance your capabilities. Another approach is to partner with another company to combine capabilities. I started a business and my expertise is in engineering, but I wasn't very good at assembling electrical equipment or the mechanical aspects of building this equipment. So I found two other companies that had those capabilities. And we developed a partnership between the three companies where the one person handled the electrical side, another person handled the mechanical side, and I did the design and selling, which were my core capabilities. The other thing you can do is find advisors, consultants, and mentors to help you. In our area around Cleveland, there are a lot of resources to help businesses move forward. For example, you're attending a SCORE webinar. SCORE in Cleveland has 100 mentors who can help you for free develop your business plan and discuss your business ideas. And I would strongly advise you to ask for a SCORE mentor. But there's other organizations around. For example, we have an organization called Magnet, which is a state-funded organization which focuses on manufacturing technologies. So if you want to manufacture something, you can go to Magnet and they will help you develop the manufacturing process, align you with equipment vendors, similar kinds of things. We have other groups in the ecosystem that can help you with financial things or how to obtain certain certifications like minority business enterprise or women's business enterprise. So there are a lot of people around who can help you, which also allows you to fill some of your gaps. So the next element here is the market opportunity. And the key thing here is to talk with potential customers. There's no getting around this. You need to find out whether your idea resonates with people who are likely to buy that kind of product. The first thing to do is to identify your ideal customer. And when we talk about your target or ideal customer, we're talking about specific people who would likely buy your product. Not everyone in the United States or the world is going to buy your product. Your products only get purchased by people who have a need for it, have a problem that your product can solve. And it's always best to target a focus group of those people as your customer base. So that's step one. Step two is you've come up with an idea of who might buy your product. You need to test that idea with questions. What challenges do this customer base face that your idea would solve? What are the current solutions that people are using today to solve their problem? What level of interest do they have in a different solution? One way to judge that is, would they pay more for it? How much more? Some other ways to talk about market opportunity is to look for patterns. Are multiple people expressing the same need for a particular product or service or solution? There are tools online that can help you. And I'm just going to mention a few here. One is using a product called Google Trends. And if you go into Google and you type Google Trends, up will come a web page, and it really shows the kinds of things that people are searching. And you can modify the search in Google Trends to ask them about specific topics like home decor, if that were an area that you were interested in. And you'll see what people are searching, which gives you an idea what people are looking for to solve a particular problem. Also, typically there are groups on various social media sites like Facebook that you can follow threads of discussions on people asking for help or whatever. There are other ones too, like Reddit. So here's a real world example. If you're starting a meal prep business, you might say, this product would be good for busy parents because we can prepare a healthy meal, and busy parents might not have time to cook. So you might ask a question of some busy parents that would go something like, would you pay $10 per meal for a healthy, ready-to-eat option? And see how people react to that. What is your value proposition? So we're talking about a problem that your customers currently face. So you should be able to state that. I know people have a problem with whatever. And here's my solution for that. And then the differentiation is the key thing here. Why is your solution better than the alternatives? And then finally, do you have a call for action? What should the customer do next? Now we have a structure for this. It's called an elevator speech. So imagine that you're going to get on an elevator and Warren Buffett is getting on the elevator with you, and you'd like to pitch him your idea so he invests in your business. You only got about 20 or 30 seconds, right, to catch his attention. Otherwise, he's going to say, well, that's really interesting. Thank you for sharing that with me. And then go to whatever he was doing. I'm going to give you an example template of how you would structure this. And there's a couple of important reasons why you should do this. First is if you can't capture your idea in a few sentences, you don't really have a good grasp of what your idea is. Secondly, when you have this elevator speech, you can use it to test your idea against what other people think, especially your core target customer base. So with that in mind, let's start with the example of this template. We help the target customer group who struggle with a problem by providing a solution. Unlike existing solutions, our key differentiator, what makes us better, whatever that is, makes it easier, more affordable, more effective, faster, whatever the benefit is. And finally, want to learn more. And this is a critical question because you want to continue the conversation, right? But beyond that, if someone says, no, good, I got it, then they're probably not really interested. I'm going to give you a specific example now. We help small business owners who struggle with marketing by providing simple, affordable social media management. Unlike expensive agencies, our do-it-yourself platform gives them professional results at a fraction of the cost. Want to try a free demo? Now, as we said before, the key here to picking a business that's right for you is aligning the four elements of Ikigai: your capability, your mission, your value proposition, your market opportunity. If you can get something, an idea that fits all of those elements, then you probably have a good shot of being successful. So you have to ask yourself the question, does your business idea align with your elements above? If not, what would you need to do to create the alignment? So you might have to modify your idea. Are you missing key information to complete your assessment? Let's assume you don't have a good idea right now. You're just, hey, I'm kind of interested in starting a business. Look at your elements, as we discussed above. Do you see a common theme which ideas might stand out for you? And then brainstorm 3 to 5 potential business ideas that align with your strengths and market needs. Then do some work to validate your ideas. Research each idea briefly using the previous guidelines. There's a good post on the SCORE blog site. It's entitled Don't Go Broke, 5 Ways to Validate Your Business Ideas. And I would suggest you read that blog post. And the link for that is shown here. And you're going to get copies of these slides so you can You don't need to copy this down right now. So narrow down the ideas that you have. And one way to do that is to rank your ideas based on four criteria: passion and interest, market demand, profit potential, feasibility. Um, you can pick some different parameters and rate everything on a 1 to 5 scale. Pick the idea that has the highest score, and then you're going to need to dig into it in a lot more detail. So, what are the next steps? You can identify potential mentors or advisors, such as SCORE. And if you follow the link below, you can find a SCORE mentor to help you go through this process. You can test your idea with a small scale experiment, a prototype. If you're actually building a product, make a prototype of it and show it to people in your target customer group. If it's a service, pilot it and see how well it goes. Um, Survey potential customers, as we said above, and then you'll need to develop an initial business plan. If you think the idea has merit, a business plan is really important because it not only is useful in raising money, because other people would want to know what your plan is, but if you can put together a plan, it indicates that you know what it is you want to do. Writing things down is very powerful. So, what did you learn about yourself through this process? What excites you the most about your top business idea? What challenges might you need to overcome? Use this process to kind of write down your ideas and try to organize them. And the next several modules in this series, developing a value proposition, using the business model canvas to develop a business plan, and of course, we have on executive function, how to manage a business, are coming up here shortly. And I strongly suggest that you follow those modules as well as they become available. So I hope uh, this has been useful to you. Um, and if you have questions, I think you can put those in the chat if they haven't already been answered. And if there aren't any questions, I thank you very much for attending this first module in the Business LaunchPad series. Gwen, did you have any feedback from the group yet?
Well, let's see. Um, I'm just reading what one question is, when will the next session be? And I believe that next session date is, I'm just looking it up very quickly here. Um, the next session will be, and the title of it is Your Big Idea to Your First Action. And it's an entrepreneur's game plan. And that will be on November 12th at the same time at 12 o'clock noon. Okay. And then let's see, there's a comment here. I learned you can always do something to move your business idea forward, even before you begin. Okay, that is one comment. And someone asked, do we get a recording? And there will be a link to the recording. And can it be emailed? Uh, I believe we can email it. We're in the process of changing that whole way of handling the recordings, but I believe we can email it to you. And finally, Tony, um, the initials KJ says this was clear and great. So there you are.
Okay. Well, thank you very much um, for joining us today. Um, and uh, appreciate you coming. And Gwen, I guess you can shut down the webinar.
Okay, and I'll make sure that we will get the link to all of you and for the next webinar. Okay.
Great.
Okay. So thank you all.
Bye.